Point 1 lecture. What is a government? A government is an institution with the power to make rules and regulations, enforce rules and regulations for all of the people living in the political area, usually known as the state. So even if you do not like the government of Tipton, if you live here or travel through here, you have to follow the laws, rules, and regulations. Governments are sovereign. Sovereignty means that the government makes the final say for its people, and that no other government can dictate policy on you. This gets a little fuzzy when we talk about the various levels of government in the U.S., but if the U.S. makes a law for the U.S. people, China cannot dictate a new law that tells us what to do in the U.S. Most governments work because they are built on the concept of natural law. Natural law is a philosophy developed by John Locke that states that if there were no official laws, man would live by a natural set of laws, a system of justice derived from nature. We will do the right thing even if there is no police or official law or courts. Governments have gone through a lot of changes over the centuries. One philosophy was called divine right of kings. This states that kings and queens derive their power from the grace of God, that they are in charge because God preordained it. So if you argue or fight against the king, you are also fighting against God. And in the Middle Ages, this was a huge deal. A philosophy that really challenged the idea of divine right of kings was Thomas Hobbes and the social contract. This stated that man is really in control, not the government. That is because of man entering into an agreement, formal or informal, with the government. In exchange for protection and services, man will give up some of his rights or freedoms to the state and the benefit of the common good. Natural rights is an extension of the social contract in natural law. John Locke argued that man has a set of natural rights, rights that we are born with, that should never be taken away as long as we are not hurting anyone else. Locke argued that these rights include life, liberty, and the ability to own private possessions and property. One universal idea of all governments is that all governments should do things for the people. We can judge how well a government is doing by how well they do the following things. First is maintain order. We want a government to maintain and enforce the rules and laws that we have put in place. This also includes protecting our borders from invasion. If the Canadians invade, this would definitely disrupt our sense of order, and that would pretty much break everything else down. We also expect governments to provide services. There are certain services that we all want, that we all benefit from, that we want our government to provide. We might disagree on some of the specifics, but we can all pretty much agree that we want schools, roads, communication, fire departments, sewage, clean water, etc. Another thing is resolving conflict. Whenever you have enough people in a room, or a state or a country, you will have disagreement. Government should be a way for people to resolve their conflicts if they cannot do it on their own. We have a court system, elections, debates, etc. as a way of peacefully finding a solution. The last one is promoting values. This one's a little bit more controversial. We expect that all people in our state share a sense of right and wrong, and at times we expect our government to keep these ideas going by teaching and promoting what is right or wrong. This can lead to some disagreement, especially with civil rights issues, integration, women's rights, marriage equality. One big idea that we're going to talk about the entire semester is that governments need to promote, quote, the public good. This means that governments should find a solution that does the most good for the most number of people while hurting the least. Ideally, everyone will be happy with every decision that the government decides, but that doesn't always happen. So the government should find the solution that is the best while taking the least from the fewest people.